In this video, we're going to go over every single one of Wylder's Remembrance, how to do everything, and get all of the best relics for that Nightfarer. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. First and foremost, you will not be able to access any of Wylder's Remembrances until you beat one single Nightlord. It doesn't matter which one it is, as long as you beat one, you can come back to your journal and start the very first Remembrance. Once you start the Remembrance, you'll find yourself in the realm of Remembrance, and you need to follow the route that I'm showing you in Round Table Hold until you reach the Iron Menial. He should be right around the corner past the journal in the next room. The Iron Menial is going to have a task for you, and he's going to explain that he needs you to go find a whetstone within Limveld. So you're going to exhaust all of his dialogue per usual in Elden Ring fashion, and then head back to Round Table Hold's Grace to start for yourself an expedition. Make sure that when you are talking, you give the understood prompt to allow yourself to go on this remembrance. If this is your first objective, you'll get the personal objectives explanation, and then you can start your expedition. When choosing a Nightlord, it doesn't matter which Nightlord you choose. I just chose the Gaping Jaw as that was the next one for me to do, as I had already defeated Tricephalos. Now, once you're in day one of your expedition, you can look at the map here and see two separate icons. You only need to go to one of them, but they're just marking the caves that you can locate the whetstone item that you need for the Iron Menial. So make your way through your expedition as you normally would. You can go and do this very early on day one. You don't have to keep waiting, but don't count on your teammates to help you out, because chances are they have their own thing going on, and I've never been able to convince my team by marking the map to go help me with a remembrance. You can also do this solo if you would like. It is easy enough to do that where you don't need a group. But when you come to the second large room in the cave, you're going to find some stairs and a few enemies to take out. The whetstone you need to snag is right here under these stairs, but there will be a mini boss that spawns, so definitely be careful. It's just a Crystallion, so a ton of heavy charged R2s will definitely do the trick, and after you take him out, you can grab the slate whetstone and then continue on your expedition. Whether or not you win the expedition or lose does not affect whether you get the slate whetstone to come out of the expedition with you to give to the Iron Menial at the end. Once your expedition is complete, head back to the room where the Iron Menial first was, and then you need to exhaust all of his dialogue. He's going to have you pick up a few items that are located around the room. Make sure to pick up every single one, and then the item on the far left that looks like a better item than the rest, he will tell you that you cannot have it. However, convince him that you're going to give it back to him, and then he will give it to you no problem. Once you get the earring in hand, run to the left where the sun is shining through the ceiling, and you can hold both earrings up. Once you do this, you're going to see a light pattern that is being exposed on the floor, and you can read a small prompt that comes up. Now at this point, you no longer have any more dialogue with the Iron Menial. However, you do need to go to the main Grace of Round Table Hold and find Duchess. Go ahead and exhaust all of Duchess's dialogue and give her the earring that you found from the Iron Menial. You'll get some dialogue between yourself and Duchess, and then this will conclude your very first remembrance. However, we're not quite done because we haven't collected the rewards from doing Wylder's very first remembrance. Once you get back into the regular Round Table Hold, you will be standing at the table and you will be greeted with the Slate Whetstone. The Slate Whetstone is an incredible relic that allows you to get a follow-up attack when using a greatsword only after using your claw to pull yourself closer to an enemy. This will give your weapon a flaming strike, which is very, very good, and it's also going to give you some physical attack up, a perfect relic for Wylder. Now, in order to complete Wylder's second remembrance, you are going to be walking all around Round Table Hold, discussing different things with different Nightfarers, and uncovering a lot of lore having to do with Wylder and another character within the Round Table Hold. Now, even though this remembrance is not very hard, you do get some really awesome lore-rich stuff here, so I definitely encourage you to do this and not skip out. Now at the journal, go ahead and begin your second remembrance, which should be chapter 5. Once you get in the realm of Remembrance, check your map, and you're going to see an exclamation point icon to your left in the next room. Make your way into the next room to a stack of books where you will receive a prompt with a little bit of lore on it. Now immediately head to your right where there will be another stack of books with another prompt with a little bit more lore. Once you finish reading, head to the right again to a bookshelf where you will have one more prompt to deal with. Now after you read this third and final prompt, you are going to hear a sound and you will receive one more prompt on your screen, that says, "From somewhere the sound of a heavy door rings out." Your job is now to go find which heavy door swung open, and you need to head down into the basement, take an immediate left, and head underground into what would be the cellars of Roundtable Hold. Once you reach the bottom, make a right and you'll see the Iron Menial and a ton of coffins in a very Nightreign-esque room. Exhaust all of his dialogue, and once you get the About the Princess of Roundtable Hold prompt, go ahead and continue to discuss it. After your discussion, head over to the 3 coffins at the end of the room and go to each one of them and click on them to find out what they say. You'll then head back upstairs, where you will then need to head outside and go find Duchess. It honestly took me way too long to find her, but on your map, scroll down and she will be on the beach looking out at the water. Now, once you find her, you're going to want to go ahead and exhaust all of her dialogue. You'll ask her what has her trapped here, and she will tell you exactly what is going on and why she is here. The remembrance will then be completed, at which point you need to head back to your journal, because that is how you conclude this remembrance. Upon exiting your remembrance, you're going to be given Wylder's Chalice, which is 2 red slots and 1 blue. Now for Wylder's 3rd remembrance, go ahead and start it in the journal. This should be chapter 7. This is a fetch quest with a bunch of different items you need to go fetch, and then also going and getting an item that is located within the Noxtella city on one of your expeditions. You'll be greeted with a prompt at the table where the Iron Menial was. Go ahead and pick it up, and it's going to be the Virtuous Thief's Key. You're then going to run down into where the basement was, where we had our 2nd remembrance talking to Iron Menial, but instead look to the left instead of the right, and there's going to be a chest there for you. Inside of that chest is going to be the torn out paper scrap, and you need to take this item to Recluse directly above you and ask her about taking the Night Lord's power. Exhaust her dialogue, and then when you get the "it does" prompt, go ahead and do that option. After you do that option, you can exhaust the rest of her dialogue for however long that takes, and then head into the next room where the Grace is and talk to the Iron Menial. You're going to ask him about the whereabouts of a silver tear, and he will explain exactly where to get it and where you need to go on your next expedition. You can choose any expedition that you want, because it doesn't matter. The city you need to find is going to be in Limveld for this remembrance, as you are in the realm of remembrance currently. Now on day 1, you can look to your right and there's going to be a giant Noxtella city. Your goal is to get into that city as fast as possible and grab the silver tear that Iron Menial has asked you to find. You can do this solo, as you are seeing. Getting a group with a remembrance quest, at least if you're doing random matchmaking, is absolutely insane, and I don't know why it takes so long or why they've separated remembrance quests from actual matchmaking, but head all the way through the city, and I'm going to show you the exact route that I took, and I'll speed it up a little bit just so you guys know exactly where to go. Now, there are so many different ways to get to the top of this city, it can be a little bit daunting, but I found what I think is the easiest way to get there, and there are a few things you need to watch out for. Right now, there's going to be one of those Estelle creatures shooting rocks at you. Make your way over to the small opening in the wall, and at the bottom, you're going to find a ton of these Deathblight frogs. Go ahead and kill all of them, because they will follow you if you don't. And then after you kill all of them, you can head into this area that I'm going now, which is going to be a little opening door on the side. Make your way all the way through here, and then you're going to go to the right, and you're going to find a spirit spring there that you can take to the very top, where you should find a Site of Grace. After you get to the top, grab the Site of Grace and head up these stairs here to the left. And after you take that left, you're going to take the immediate left after that, where you're going to find an item on a coffin, and it's going to cause a giant troll to spawn. Be careful here, because if you're not careful, you could drag in the boss right next door, which is going to be a Black Knife Assassin. So make sure you take this guy out as fast as possible, because that Black Knife does patrol and can be quite a problem. So just be careful when you're coming up here. Another thing to note is you cannot grab the item until you kill this boss. So make sure the boss is down, at which point you should be able to walk right over to the coffin, grab the item that is there, and you should receive a silver tear. Now you can go ahead and finish your expedition. One way or the other, you'll still get the item to come out with you, and then head back to Roundtable Hold and find Iron Menial standing right here where he originally was. Exhaust all of his dialogue, and once you've done that, your remembrance will be complete. Upon exiting the remembrance, you're going to receive the silver tear relic, which is going to make the art gauge greatly filled when the ability is activated, and it's going to give you +3 arcane and ultimate art gauge +3. Now this item is also important because it is key for Wylder's 4th Remembrance. You cannot do the 4th Remembrance without this relic equipped. So equip this relic and head into the Night Aspect Expedition. This is going to allow you to fight the final boss of Elden Ring Nightreign, and once you've defeated that boss, you will get not only a final memory fragment, but also the Remembrance armor and a special cutscene for Wylder summing up his 4th Remembrance. It's also important to note that you cannot start this Remembrance in the journal. You must do this Remembrance in an expedition, either in a group or solo. But guys, that's going to be it for Wylder's Remembrances, every single one of them. I hope this guide helped you out. Let me know down in the comments if there was anything that I missed. I don't think I missed anything. I got everything in there that should be in there, but let me know regardless. And if you like this type of content, let me know which Remembrance you want to see next down in the comments below. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. Make sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification on your way out. And until next time, stay safe, enjoy the game, and I'll see you in the next one.